Where are you going? Pallid bats remind me a lot of preschoolers. They go, 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 go until they just drop. Oh, he's echolocating too. You're checking out the room, huh? He's been with me since the day he was born. He fell in a barn. He still had his umbilical cord and placenta attached. And after raising him, I realized that probably his mother knew that he would never survive in the wild because his wings are too small for his body. The forearm should go beyond the end of his nose, and it doesn't. So he can't fly because he can't carry his weight. I've always been interested in the underdog. And as I learned about bats and talked with people about them, I found that one, they were incredible animals, and two, that there was just a real lack of knowledge and a lot of fear. There was a niche there where people really needed to learn more. There's 3 species here. The little guy is the Mexican Freetailed Bat. So this is the one we're going to watch under the freeway. The Yolo Causeway is about a 3-mile bridge. There's 16 parallel expansion joints that run the length of the bridge. Living in those crevices mostly are the Mexican Freetailed Bats. So this is a Mexican Freetailed Bat, and you can see that skin between the legs. And in this species, it stretches out, and they can use it like a butterfly net or a catcher's mitt. And they use that as one way of capturing insects. These bats have chosen a great place to live. The bats living under that bridge have access to water easily because there's the wetlands there. All that area has tomatoes and corn and rice, and insects come to the food. The little Mexican freetails often are eating moths that are migrating very, very high. So when they come out, we see them come out and then they go up. And they're going up 1 to 2 miles high to pick off the migrating moths. Mexican Freetailed Bats eat huge quantities of insects. When a female is pregnant or nursing, she eats approximately the equivalent of her weight in insects every night. That's a lot. It's like a 100-pound human eating 400 quarter-pounders. Bats are incredibly important for protecting our farmlands. They're keeping the insect populations somewhat at bay. They substantially help to then reduce the amount of pesticides that need to be used. The presence of the bats is definitely a win for agriculture, and that's why especially the organic farmers, but even non-organic farmers, will put up things like bat houses to attract the bats.
Usually the Mexican freetails are born about the 1st of July. They were born a couple of weeks early this year. It's the first time I've seen that in the 10 years I've been working with the bats, but I haven't been working with them in this severe of a drought before.
The drought that's currently going on, its effect is going to be on things like food supply. If they don't have that kind of food supply available to them, then some of them are not going to be able to have viable young. So I have little babies in here, little baby bats. Oops. This bat fell from a bat house up in the Grass Valley area. The people who have the bat houses absolutely love their bats. Their first try is to put the bat pup back in the house. But if that doesn't work, then they bring it in to rescue so that it can be raised and given a chance. I kind of have to think every bat that comes into care, if it hadn't come in, it wouldn't have survived. So each one that does is one more. The colony actually, very slowly, does continue to grow. They have one baby, so they're not reproducing quickly. And of those, about 25% will survive. That first year is really hard. Their biggest risk for natural predators are going to be the flying raptors. In particular, we have a falcon that once in a while will show up.
Oh my God, she's gonna try and get a bat. Oh, he got it.
Whitenose syndrome has wiped out certain species at a higher rate than others. So a species like the little brown bat, their populations have dropped in some cases by 95%. You know, they're not going to recover in our grandchildren's lifetime. In that balance in nature, if you lose your predators, the prey, of course, grow. Prey being the insects. We're not going to let that happen as humans. Pesticide is dangerous for us as well. If there's a good population of bats, it cuts down on the quantity of pesticides that need to be used, and that affects things financially. Bats save farmers billions of dollars a year in crop loss and quantity of pesticide. The government monies that come in are very small comparatively. We've begun to realize we don't know what we're losing because we don't know what we had. Whitenose syndrome is slowly making its way west. We don't know what will happen as it hits the Rockies and then the Sierras and gets into California. I don't think anybody is saying it won't make it here, but our climate is different. It's drier. So will it have as devastating effect? Maybe not. And then species are different. For example, the Mexican Freetailed Bat doesn't hibernate. Whitenose syndrome kills hibernating bats. So these bats, we don't expect that they will succumb. But they could carry the fungus. They're extremely gregarious animals, and they share caves with other species that do hibernate. And so one of the concerns is if it gets into the Mexican Freetailed Bat populations, are they going to become carriers and accelerate the movement of this fungus? I always like to think there's hope, and hopefully someday somebody will come up with an idea. It's just whether it will be in time. This is our only bat that flies from the ground. He has a very large wings. You know, I can rescue a bat here and there, but you can't save a species, one animal at a time. But as we change people's opinions and help people to understand, ignorance causes so many problems. And when we're afraid, sometimes we do bad things without thinking. And those are more devastating.
Yeah, see here? Can you see the little curved? That's his thumb.
Yeah. I see kids as our future. And if I can help them to understand the role of these animals and that they're not scary things out there to attack us, but in turn they are doing a benefit, and if we leave them alone, they'll do us no harm, I feel like then I've done my job.